and welcome to the Dairy Dialogue. We are extremely delighted to have Mr. Pankaj Sharma with us. Mr. Sharma is ex-Chief Risk Officer and General Manager of Mother Dairy. He also boasts more than 3 decades of experience in working with the dairy sector and prominent organizations like National Dairy Development Board. Welcome to the Dairy Dialogue, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tripathi. So it's really wonderful talking to you, getting in touch with you.
Thanks a lot, sir. It's our pleasure to have you on the platform and talk to us and our audience about such a critical topic, ERM, Enterprise Risk Management. So, sir, before we enter the topic, I would actually like to ask you a very key question that I always ask, and it's very close to my heart. How did you end up to the dairy sector? What kept you sticking to the sector for such a long time?
See, pure destiny. I mean, see, I'm a very strong believer in destiny. Mm-hmm. And number two, what I believe is the actions which you take at every point of life makes you what you do and makes you what you are today.
Precisely, yes.
So I was born and brought up in a small city called Bharatpur. Bharatpur in Rajasthan, which is famous for Evladev Ghana bird sanctuary.
Bird sanctuaries.
And it's part of a region called Bridge. You are from UP, so you will understand that.
Yes.
And Bridge is the land of Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
And abundance of milk, it's popular for that. और इसीलिए क्या है, rub off has to happen. तो इसीलिए मैं बोलता हूँ हमेशा खून में दूध तो बहता ही.
दूध है, बिल्कुल.
तो अल्टीमेटली डेयरी में आना था because Bridge में था. तो एक तो ये important था. लेकिन otherwise I am from a family of lawyers. Okay. My father was a very famous lawyer in Bharatpur. The entire family, starting from my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother was a barrister. Even in the younger generation, there is a fair share of lawyers in my
family. Lawyers as well, yeah.
So I took up science maths as my major in my higher secondary school. Mm-hmm. Did my higher secondary with from Rajasthan Board of Secondary Education with distinction.
Yeah.
Logically, I should have gone into law.
Yeah.
But then, in those days, I'm talking about 70s. Late 70s.
Yeah.
Anybody who had taken science maths as a major would go for engineering.
Yeah.
Anybody who has taken science biology, he tried to become a doctor.
Yeah.
As the trend has it, I also applied for various colleges, and ultimately I got offers from 2.
Okay.
As luck would have it, I had also applied for BATS Pilani, but due to some mix-up at the postal department in those days, if you remember, there were no online application.
Yes. Postal.
You had to have a hard copy and send it by registered post.
Yeah.
But my application form reached some 5 days later than the last date, so I couldn't get in BATS. So 2 colleges. One was the College of Technology and Agricultural Engineering, Udaipur.
Yeah.
And another was Regional Engineering College in Silchar. Silchar is in Assam.
Assam, yeah.
And that the branch of it was civil engineering. So I went to my father. I said, I've got admission in 2 colleges. Tell me, what do I do? And he was very bindas. He said, you decide. I don't know. You decide. But even if you decide to go to Assam, I have no issues.
Yeah.
I have a client there who will take care of it. So that was the only response which he gave to me. He said,
yeah.
But then I said, chalo yaar, it's Rajasthan, my home state.
Yeah.
It will be closer to home. And that's a new branch. It was an upcoming branch in those days, agriculture engineering.
Yeah.
I thought that getting a job will be easier. Because in those days, getting a job was the prime.
Yeah. Abhi bhi wahi hai, sir. At the end of the day, you have to land up the job. Yeah.
So I decided, chalo yaar, hum CTA hi join karte. CTA mein. आने के बाद क्या हुआ? That was 1970.
Yeah.
So this is what my destiny was pushing me towards my ultimate goal. If I had not joined agriculture engineering, I would not have.
Exactly.
That was the first push towards my sector. And while studying at CTA, I realized that why government job to kar nahi sakta, because I was not cut out for that. So I should do some post graduation.
Yeah.
And in those days, management was becoming a in thing. So we came to know that there is another institute called Institute of Rural Management. Institute which was formed by Dr. Kurian.
Yeah, IRMA. Yeah.
So उसके लिए भी apply किया. So ultimately I got admission in IRMA.
IRMA, yeah.
So that was the second push.
Yeah.
IRMA आ गए. इरमा आने के बाद तो डेयरी वाज द अल्टीमेट।
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
अब इरमा में आने के बाद क्या हुआ, इरमा में आने के बाद तो यार that was really a great opportunity. 2 years at IRMA, 1985 to 87.
जी,
It changed the entire outlook.
बस यहीं पे मैं पैदा हो गया था सर, मैं 86 में मैं पैदा हुआ था।
85 में जब किया, and we were from the first few batches. I was from the 6th batch. So we had a direct interaction with Dr. Kurian.
जी।
So as you said, rightly so, the doyen of Indian dairy industry.
Yeah.
We had a direct interaction with him. He used to visit us.
Yeah.
Almost once or twice a month. And he used to sit with us, discuss things. So his life history we knew, his teachings, and the way he used to deal with people. It has an everlasting impact on us. I
can imagine.
Again, so I was from a very small city, and I had some rural background. But there were number of fellow students who were from metros, Delhi and Mumbai, Calcutta, and Madras. In those days, it was called Madras. So they had not seen even a cow or buffalo in their life. Only in books they would have seen some pictures. So for them, it was a life-changing experience working in that. And the course curriculum at IRMA was so, including the 2 months field work, was so well designed, and it was designed in such a manner that we were supposed to stay in villages for 2 months, witness and experience the rural life.
Yeah.
Even the faculty, each faculty member was selected by Dr. Kurian himself. And one of the major characteristics which you used to see in them was the compassion. They felt for the farmers. Yeah. So that had a rub off on us. So the entire mindset was becoming that we have to get into this sector. अब क्या हुआ, जब जॉब के लिए टाइम आया, कैंपस रिक्रूटमेंट में 2 जगह से ऑफर आया, एक एनडीडीबी से ऑफर आया इन फार्मर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एंड अनदर ऑफर केम फ्रॉम सफल यूनिट ऑफ एनडीडीबी। एनडीडीबी का एक सफल यूनिट दिल्ली में होता, उसमें ऑपरेशंस में, बिकॉज आई वाज एन इंजीनियर, so I was given a job in operations. But then I decided NDDB join karte hain, it's a premier house organization anyway, Safal is the unit of NDDB. So better join NDDB because NDDB is the organization which is responsible for its premier organization, and it is responsible for integrated dairy development, so it will give you a better exposure. Exactly. My first posting was in Bikaner, so again a rural belt. So I was posted in Urmul. Urmul was the cooperative union there. और वो कंसोलिडेशन का फेज, एक्सपेंशन और कंसोलिडेशन का फेज था. I was there for 365 days, 1 year. Out of 365 days, 250 days I was on leave. Wow. My day used to start at 4 in the morning when dairy ka vehicle used to pick me up from my home. We used to go to the villages and used to come back at 11 in the morning. So 250 दिन मैं जब यही करता रहा, so that had a huge this thing, and the learnings which I had that 1 year has helped me throughout my career. One, the nuances. Number two, the passion, the compassion which I developed for this sector. And you are asking me why I didn't leave. I didn't leave. One, because of this reason, and number two, I kept on getting challenges. NDDB is an organization which always throws challenges at people who are willing to take up the challenge. They will not force you to do anything, but they will throw up challenges. If you take up the challenge, they will support you to the end.
सर वो टाइम बहुत डिफरेंट रहा होगा वर्सेस आज के, बिकॉज उस टाइम पे एक्सेस टू लाइक लोकेशन वुड हैव बीन वेरी डिफिकल्ट.
और सी मैं बताता हूं ना, मेरे को क्या करते थे, मेरे जो बॉस थे, वो जो मिल्क ट्रक होता है ना, कैरी कैन्स, उसमें ड्राइवर के केबिन में बैठा देते थे.
एग्जैक्टली.
कि तुम जाओ, एंड ट्रक यूज्ड टू ड्रॉप मी एट द विलेज, और वो फिर मेरे को नहीं पता which truck will take me back, how many days I am going to stay here. So I used to stay in the society building में, वहीं पर मेरे को एक हाथ मिल जाता था, वहीं काम करता. So that was the grinding, and that grinding I still believe is needed. तो grinding ही है जिसने हमको इतना वो किया कि हम 35 साल तक इस सेक्टर में रहे, और हमको कभी ऐसा नहीं लगा कि यार क्यों मैं क्या.
Exactly. I'll add one thing here, sir. कि like I had an excellent opportunity to work for a project in Madhya Pradesh का दमोह area. So being a tribal belt, So वहाँ पे भी like a private company wanted to set up its own milk procurement centers, and like they had some NGOs, and like they wanted to utilize them to do some dairy related development. And that actually gave me the first hand nuanced version of like what Indian dairy is all about. And as you mentioned, like you rightly mentioned, so like that grinding is so very important to actually make you understand what value you are actually adding.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
If you are just a consumer sitting and consuming milk at home, you do not understand what like how actually dairy industry actually functions. So sir, like how did you like अब हमने like so you graduated from IRMA and you came to NDDB, and then how did you like because I see that like you were also heading NDDB Haryana. So tell me something about your experience in Haryana.
In 89, NDDB was had started implementing Operation Truck.
Ji.
So they were setting up a new department called Project Finance and Management Services, which was supposed to appraise almost 150 dairy development projects for funding across the country. Yeah. And they didn't have the wherewithal to do it, so they were setting up a new department. Yeah. So all the management graduates who were in the field were pulled back, and they were brought to Anand. Yeah. And put in the finance department. So I was part of that team, and I almost appraised almost 70, 80 projects in a period of almost 4 years. Wow. So that is how I got into finance. And when I realized that now I am working now in finance, I also registered for ICW, and I did my in 92 and 96 I completed my ICW. So that's how I got into finance, and then finance ultimately I made my career. 92 NDDB took over the management of RCDF, Rajasthan Cooperative Dairy Federation, which is popularly known as Saras. Saras, yeah. And at the advice of government of Rajasthan, NDDB had taken over, and a team of almost 40 officers was posted in Rajasthan. And I was also sent there. Yeah. I was in the head office. I was associated with the managing director of RCDF, who was also an NDDB officer. Yeah. And NDDB turned it around when we went there. The entire state's procurement was hardly 3 lakh liters. Yeah. When we handed it back, it was 10 lakhs. So almost 3 times procurement was increased. Milk sale was hardly there, 1.5 lakhs. We brought it to 7.5 lakhs, made it profitable. Yeah. The entire operation, gave it back to the state government again. Yeah. So, and after that, I was posted in Haryana. 2001, NDDB decided to set up state offices because Operation Flood 3 was ending, and NDDB was introducing prospective plan for dairy development in the country. Yeah. And to implement that, they were setting up state offices across the country. Yeah. And I was made the state director in state of Haryana. Yeah. So I was there for 3 years. I set up the office there, helped in implementation, helped the Haryana Dairy Federation and the government in implementation of prospective plan there, dairy development projects. And 2004, around 2000, what NDDB did, NDDB converted their unit. Mother Dairy was a unit of NDDB. Yeah. It was converted into a company. And professionals from outside were also hired. And NDDB decided to bring in some key people from NDDB into Mother Dairy management in key positions. So I was then brought to Mother Dairy Dairy. I was in finance. Again, my job was budgeting, planning and monitoring. So that's how I got into Mother Dairy. And the entire 18 years I was in Mother Dairy. I think the rest of the professional career was there. I superannuated in 2022. There I was responsible for budgeting, planning, monitoring, and organizational transformation. Yeah. We did a project of almost 2.5 years of organizational transformation. I was responsible for that also. I was associated with MD, and we did that. So, in the year 2020, Mother Dairy decided to implement enterprise risk management. You said 2020? 20. Okay. 2020, they decided let us have risk management policy in place. Yeah. So I was made the first CR of the company. And I had the opportunity then to design, formulate, and implement the enterprise risk management policy as well as third-party risk management. Yeah. So, sir, like now we are already starting to touch the ERM part. So, for our audience, like, could you like explain in like simple and plain terms, like what ERM is and its importance kya hai? Like, why is it so critical for businesses? and
specifically for the dairy sector?
First let me tell you what is there. Since the time human enterprise began, how did it begin? Hunting and gathering. उससे शुरू किए. You had cultivation of crops. And you are running a household. Or organizing a big religious event. कोई मेला. या setting up a business enterprise. For anything, you are always exposed to risk. And what we do, we in our own ways, we try and handle that risk. Basis our past experiences, available resources, and our understanding of the context in which that particular risk is. But what happens? We focus on a singular event. कुछ हो गया, we try and tackle that. And we do that very well. Because हमको वो experience है कि ऐसा कभी पहले हुआ था तो हमने कैसे किया था, या अभी अचानक से हुआ तो हम उसको किस तरह से handle. But most of the times the actions are reactive. But जब भी आप कभी business के context में when you talk about risk, what happens? What comes to mind? Financial risk. Financial, yeah. Business में risk मतलब generally it is not if you ask 100 people, 90 will say financial risk. Financial fraud, risk. Embezzlement, theft. But that's a very very small part of the whole gamut of risk. Risk कैसा भी हो सकता है, strategic हो सकता है, operational हो सकता है, any kind of risk. कोई भी risk होगा उसमें ultimately there will be financial impact on the bottom line. But only focusing on the financial part does not do full justice to the risk landscape. There are various kinds of risk. There could be risk to reputation. If you remember, there was an incident that happened. There were worms found in Cadbury chocolate. Cadbury chocolates, yeah. It became a huge issue. And Cadbury's lost reputation and lot of business. They had to spend a lot of resources to ultimately correct that situation. 13-14, if you remember, आपने सुना होगा जी में भी आता था सफेद दूध का काला सच. Adulteration of food. Adulteration has been a very big topic. UP, some government official in UP came out with this thing statement that almost the entire milk in UP is adulterated. So it was just off the cuff remark. And I must say that the unorganized sector, the Dodias and all, they indulge in that. But ultimately, who got impacted? The organized sector. Organized sector got impacted. Mother Dairy got impacted. Parag got impacted. Amul got impacted. Everyone got impacted. Reputation किसका खराब हुआ? Organized sector. Organized sector is visible. बाकी तो किसी को पता नहीं. ठीक है ना? Similarly, कभी क्या होगा? कुछ ऐसा होगा जो very existence of the organized कोई risk जो है वो खत्म कर देगा. जैसे आप example लो, mobile phone आया. It wiped off the pager industry. खत्म ही कर दिया 2 साल में. मेरे को भी गाना खरीद तो उसमें लगा कर घूमते थे. 2 साल में पेजर गायब हो गया. Nokia lost its market share from 75-76% to 3-4% because they said हमारा फोन बढ़िया है, smartphone is useless. Exactly. They didn't see that risk coming. They were not ready. So the very existence goes out of the window. Union Carbide. वो अगर केस नहीं होता गैस Union Carbide gas, Union Carbide was running. The factory closed down. That industry had to go out of this. So ILFS, the entire financial sector got impacted. It took so many years. ILFS हुआ या सत्यम हुआ, for example. So what happens is all organizations manage risk in some way or the other. But generally the actions which are taken are in silos. What enterprise risk management does, it by contrast is proactive. It's not reactive. It takes actions which are proactive so that risk even should not happen. And even if it happens, I'm ready. I'm ready for that. And it's all encompassing. It does not look only at one area. It's all encompassing. Process आप सेट करते हैं तो it is process driven and self sustaining. ये चलता है. आप लगातार इस पर काम करते हैं. So what if I sum it up? What is enterprise risk management? It's a methodology that looks at risk management strategically. From the perspective of the whole organization. Firm-wide strategy बनाते हैं उसमें. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने किसी खाली फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट को पकड़ लिया, ऑपरेशंस को पकड़ लिया. और टॉप डाउन स्ट्रेटजी है. जो टॉप मैनेजमेंट है that is fully involved in that, and they form the whole policy and they decide what actions will be taken and how it will be monitored on a day-to-day basis. Holistic approach लेकर चलते हैं. So this is what TRM होता है, थर्ड पार्टी रिस्क मैनेजमेंट. सॉरी, आप ये करते हैं, आप ट्रेडिशनल रिस्क मैनेजमेंट और उसमें क्या फर्क है? ट्रेडिशनल रिस्क मैनेजमेंट में आप क्या करते हो, वो वही रिस्क फोकस करते हैं which can be insured. So what happens? You will take insurance policies against some known risk. कि प्लांट में अगर कुछ हो जाएगा तो I should insure my plant. All my vehicles should be insured. My all employees should be covered under accident insurance policy. Something like that. But what ERM does, ERM also looks at those risks which are non-insurable. Any insurance company will not cover any natural disaster. They will say it's an act of God.
Act of God.
But what ERM does, ERM also will look at all these aspects, work out what is the probability of their occurrence, what is the impact on the organization, and work out the mitigation cost, and constantly update it and do it. So traditional risk management does it looks at only one dimension. One dimension is the dimension of impact. What ERM does, it will look at both the dimensions. The impact as well as the probability of its occurrence. होगा तो उसकी probability क्या है? अगर होगा तो उसके लिए तैयार हुए और अगर होगा तो उसका impact क्या है? ERM does that. So that's how it does. It is proactive. और risk generally क्या होता है? Generally people are risk averse in organization. मैं loss नहीं करना चाहिए, मेरे को risk तो है. I will not take such actions which ultimately will put some risk on me. So generally they are risk averse. What ERM does, ERM looks at risk as an opportunity also. One, you are ready for taking it on. And number two, if the risk has happened, I will handle it and I will try to see if there are any opportunities coming out of that. Because I'm setting up some processes to handle that. उसमें से निकलकर कुछ आ सकता है.
Exactly.
ठीक है ना? तो ये that's how ERM becomes very important.
So sir, like now we have understood like what ERM is and like uska ERM, how ERM is different as compared to the traditional risk management. So now what are the statutory requirements for actually implementing ERM? Requirements क्या क्या?
2013 the Companies Act amendment came, and wherein the three major stakeholders, the board, audit committee, and independent directors, they were made responsible for ensuring that there is a robust risk management, enterprise risk management system in place, and it's working properly. So they were made to ensure that they will ultimately report. The board of directors, उनको अपने directors report में they have to mention that yes, the company has a robust system in place. Audit committee is supposed to ensure that the system is implemented, it is running well, and every quarter they report to the board that yes, we have reviewed it and we certify that it is. Independent directors play a very major role in the companies these days. So independent directors are part of, all the independent directors are part of the audit committee. One of the independent directors is the chairman of the audit committee. And anyway, they are in the board. So independent directors have a very huge responsibility because they are put in place only to ensure that corporate governance is taken care of. And ERM is supposed to be a corporate governance tool. If ERM is in place, the organization is looking at the entire risk landscape, taking proactive actions. That means the governance is in place. So वो शुरू किया. So legal requirement तो ये है. But when in 2013 when it was introduced, it was said that only top 100 companies, as per the market capitalization, will implement it. They are mandated to implement it. Over the years, the number has now gone up to 1,000. But still, I don't think any dairy company will be part of that because most of the large dairy companies are in cooperation. So
I have this question because as you already mentioned during like one of our pre-discussion that cooperatives are not required to do ERM or have put ERM system in place. But if we even talk about like a private company, what are the key risks? For example, when we imagine a dairy business, like a sizable Indian dairy business, what are the key risks that you would think like that are faced by such businesses and why they should actually put ERM into place?
ERM, मैंने जैसे बताया ना आपको कि वो करते तो सभी हैं, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट सब कर रहे हैं, but what they are doing it in bits and pieces. Silos में कभी जो plant in charge होगा, he will only look at the risk in his area. और जो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर will only look at the strategy. So what ERM does, ERM will give you the entire landscape and the kind of risk which any dairy business can be exposed to can be supply chain. Supply chain is the major this thing. And supply chain this could be in the areas of price. खास तौर से raw material price is almost 75 to 80% of the whole price this thing. And any risk to the price will ultimately hit the financials.
Yeah.
Price will be your own pricing strategies. Vis-a-vis competition, what competition is doing, you have to have a full view of that, and you have to have a well-defined and documented pricing strategies, so that the pricing is not person based,
Yeah,
perception based, or some what should I say, subjective. So you have a system in place, और उसके अलावा आप that pricing strategy also takes into consideration the competition, apart from that the cyclical variations or seasonal variations,
seasonalities and
various scenarios can be occurred. So unless you have a robust pricing strategy, you will always be faced with pricing related risk. Then comes the logistics risk. Milk is perishable. It is produced twice a day. It has to be procured and then brought to the production center at a plant. Traversing a long distance. During that distance, the milk is exposed to different types of risk. चाहे वो theft होगा, या वो adulteration होगा, या वैसे related to cold chain integrity. So you have to consider all these risks and prepare your processes and controls in such a way.
Exactly.
And ensure. So what ERM will do, it will ensure that you have all these processes and systems in place, and people are implementing them. People are following them. एक बार बनाकर आपने छोड़ दिया, उसके बाद आपने उसको रिव्यू नहीं किया तो भी कुछ नहीं. So what happens, the risk management team will constantly review all these processes and ensure that the people are aware of it and people know that अभी ये रिस्क है, इसके अलावा और क्या रिस्क आ सकते हैं. तो वो उसको लेकर वो हमेशा उसको रिव्यू करते रहेंगे, और उनका एक रिस्क becomes a culture. That whatever actions you are taking, you are always looking at it from the risk microscope. That ये कोई भी मैं एक्शन आज कर रहा हूँ, इसका कोई अभी कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ऊपर इम्पैक्ट आ सकता है, या इससे कुछ और इम्प्लीकेशंस हो सकते हैं. प्लांट ऑपरेशन का तो आपको पता है, सब लोग जानते हैं प्लांट ऑपरेशन में किस टाइप के रिस्क हो सकते हैं, क्वालिटी रिलेटेड हो सकते हैं, या dairy industry is now heavily dependent on third parties. Almost 40 to 50% of the entire business, operations are on third parties. You may have very good systems in place, robust systems in place, but then you have to also ensure that the third parties which are working for you also have the similar systems. So what ERM will do? ERM will ensure that similar systems are implemented, and on a regular basis you are reviewing them. You are putting a scanner. I remember हम जब कोई third party को onboard करते हैं, so what do we look at it? We look at his capabilities, whether they are able to handle our milk, whether they will be able to do it as per our standards, they will be able to maintain the quality. But generally, people do we look at their financial capabilities also?
Yeah, exactly.
Generally, you don't do it. हमको लगता है वो कर लेगा मेरे लिए काम, मैं उसको पैसा दूंगा 50 पैसे 60 पैसा. किसी को भी बोलता है तो एक चिलिंग प्लांट लगा दे या एक प्लांट लगा दे मेरे लिए, मैं काम. But if he is not financially sound, एक वेयर हाउस में आपने सामान रखा ना, your stock is worth almost 100, 200 crore, 300 crore, 500 crore. That fellow goes bust. He sells off that stock. If you are not putting the systems in place to regularly monitor it, regularly keep a tab on it, examples भी हैं. उस बंदे ने बेच दिया, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी बोलता है because that fellow has done mischief, it is not covered under insurance. What is covered in insurance is if there is a theft happening in that place or there is some fire, I will cover it. But if that person himself has done it, it's not covered. What do you do? How do you cover that risk? How you cover that risk by putting in place a system that on a regular basis your people are going there, monitoring it, and ensuring that he's working properly, and number two, on a regular basis, we are looking at his financial position. We are reviewing that also. कल को ऐसा होगा कि वो आपस में दो पार्टनर्स में झगड़ा होगा, एनसीएलटी में केस चला गया, आपका उसकी फैसिलिटी सीज हो, आपका तो माल दब गया हुआ था। तो ये हमारे साथ हुआ। हम लोगों ने, बिकॉज वी हैड दिस सिस्टम इन प्लेस, हमने क्या किया, हम लोग उसको ध्यान रखते थे कि यार उसके बारे में कोई भी न्यूज है, हमको कहीं से किसी भी दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट से पता लगता है कि यार उनके कुछ प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है आपस में पार्टनर, वी टॉक टू देम, वी डिडंट गेट वेरी सैटिस्फैक्टरी आंसर, अल्टीमेटली वी डिसाइडेड यार यहाँ से स्टॉक निकाल, एंड बहुत जल्दी हमने महीने भर के अंदर अंदर सारा स्टॉक निकाल लिया, अल्टीमेटली वही हुआ, पार्टी वेंट बस्ट। अगर लोग नहीं एक्शन लेते आप, तो आपका वो सामान था हमारा करीब 2,500-3,000 टन माल था उस वक्त। So this is why it is very important. We had this system in place. So हमको मेरे को याद है November 2019 we had a system of scanning the environment, looking at various events, understand what is happening in the industry, and not only industry, in the entire global space, and we were getting this kind of hang that something is happening regarding this pandemic. People were not calling it pandemic, but कुछ खबरें आने लगी थी कि कहाँ पर कुछ हो रहा है, चाइना में कुछ है, इधर कुछ है, चल रहा था। So we had a very very forward looking managing director. आपको शायद नाम भी उनका पता होगा, डॉक्टर संग्राम चौधरी। He was our managing director. He said यार हमको अपना बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी प्लान बना लेना चाहिए। So ये सोच थी, because we had this kind of a system, we were looking at it, so we said हमको अपना BCP बनाना चाहिए, और हमने दिसंबर से ही BCP पर काम करना शुरू किया। By January we had business continuity plans in place. So when this lockdown happened, we were least disrupted. हुआ नहीं, क्योंकि हमको पता था कि क्या करना है। तो हमने क्या किया था, हमने जितने भी हमारे की पीपल थे, उनके सबके दो ऑल्टरनेटिव्स आइडेंटिफाई करके हमने डॉक्यूमेंट कर लिए। हर प्लांट के लिए हमने दो प्लांट्स आइडेंटिफाई कर लिए थे ऑल्टरनेटिव, कि अगर इस प्लांट में कुछ हो जाता है, इधर को ये लॉकडाउन हो जाएगा, इसका इम्पैक्ट आएगा या डिसरप्शन होगा, वेयर विल द ऑपरेशंस गेट शिफ्ट। सो वी हैड द एंटायर प्लान इन प्लेस, सो द डिसरप्शन वाज मिनिमम। हमको मुश्किल से शायद 2-3 दिन हमको दूध को थोड़ा सा रोकना पड़ा, अदरवाइज फॉर द पीरियड वी डिडंट हैव एनी।
So this is so interesting. So how did because we had the lockdowns, how did the milk procurement continue? So वहाँ पे how did you manage कि वहाँ पे infections ना हो?
मैं यही बोल रहा हूँ, इन्फेक्शन से हमने उसके लिए भी मैंने प्लान बनाकर, हमारा जो बीसीपी था उसमें हमने पहले से ये प्लान बनाकर रखा था, व्हाट विल बी द वेज ऑफ वर्किंग। और फार्मर्स को, हमारा जो फील्ड स्टाफ था, उनको हमने उस तरह से ट्रेन किया था, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू हैंडल दिस काइंड ऑफ लॉकडाउन के लिए। तो देखिए, डेयरी इंडस्ट्री वाज फॉर्चुनेट दैट डेयरी इंडस्ट्री वाज गिवन स्पेशल कंसेशंस बिकॉज़ वी आर इन एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज। सो हमको मूवमेंट का, इसका उसका सबको हमारे को पूरा आजादी थी, बट स्टिल इन्फेक्शंस ज्यादा नहीं हो उसके लिए हमने, बिकॉज़ वी आर चॉक्ड आउट ऑल दीस प्लांट्स। और हमने, अगर आपको ध्यान होगा उस टाइम में, आप कहाँ पर थे, यहीं थे ना, मैडम, आपने देखा होगा हमारे बूथ के बाहर बड़े बड़े लोगों को खड़ा होने के लिए, डिस्टेंस, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करने के लिए। सिमिलर एक्सरसाइज वी हैड डन फॉर आवर सोसाइटीज, हमारे मिल्क कलेक्शन सेंटर, वहां पर भी हमने किसानों को यही सिखाया था, और उनको वहां पर भी इसी तरह से सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करना है, इस तरह से आपको हाइजीन का ध्यान रखना है, प्रोक्यूरमेंट किस तरह से करना है, वो सब किया। तो हमको मालूम था कि ऐसा होने वाला है, हमारे पास सिस्टम्स थे, हमारे पास कंटिन्यूटी प्लान्स थे इन प्लेस, डॉक्यूमेंटेड, एंड वी वर अवेयर ऑफ इट, पीपल वर ट्रेन्ड, तो हम कर पाए। तो डिसरप्शन, और हमारा ही नहीं, ये तो ठीक है, एक मदर डेयरी नहीं, इवन ऑल द बिग कोऑपरेटिव्स आल्सो हैंडल, अमूल आल्सो हैंडल्ड इट सो वेल, उनका भी डिसरप्शन बहुत मिनिमल हुआ था। तो वहां का तो मैं मार्च में आई वेंट टू बनास ऑन अ विजिट, I was there in Banas on 18, 19 to 28. मैं 22 तारीख को लौट कर आया था और 23 तारीख से गुड़गांव में। तो वो they were ready. In fact, there was a team sitting there stitching face mask. वो खाली उन्होंने अपने लिए नहीं, अपने स्टाफ के लिए नहीं, अपने फार्मर्स के लिए नहीं, for the entire Banas city.
Wow.
They had staged face mask. So उनकी इतनी रेडीनेस, इतने तक तैयार थे, क्योंकि हमको मालूम था कि क्या हो रहा है, बिकॉज वी न्यू। तो इम्प्लीमेंट उन्होंने रियल सेंस में उन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करा, हमने तो ERM भी इम्प्लीमेंट किया. The thought was there.
Yeah.
The thought was already there.
So it's like basically ERM, of course, it's like it's a management system, but it's also gets into your DNA.
So it's a good management. It's in DNA. It has to see what ERM implementation does. It inculcates a culture. Risk culture. हम इसको risk culture बोलते हैं. आपको हर जो key person है, who is in operation or who is taking a decision, he is tuned in such a way that whatever he is doing, whatever action he is taking, or whatever avoidance he is doing about not taking an action, he is looking at it from the risk.
And at least when you think it as a risk, you always think alternatives or the way out.
Yes, always. You are proactively thinking. You are proactively thinking अगर ऐसा हो गया तो क्या होगा. तो इसके लिए क्या करते हैं, फिर पूरा एंटायर इसका प्रोसेस में भी क्या करते हैं, एक रिस्क मैनेजमेंट कमेटी होती है, जो कमेटी जो है रेगुलरली मिलती है, और हर डिपार्टमेंट में हर SBU अगर आपकी है तो उसमें एक रिस्क चैंपियन आइडेंटिफाई किया जाता है. उसका काम ही है. एंड ही इज अ पर्सन who has been in the system quite some time. He understands the system. और उसको भी ट्रेन किया जाता है कि वो रेगुलरली स्कैन कर रहा है अपने डिपार्टमेंट में कि क्या क्या प्रोसेसेस हैं, क्या क्या प्रोसेसेस ठीक काम कर रहे हैं, अगर नहीं कर रही तो क्यों, और अपने लोगों से बात करेगा, और he will keep on coming out with various potential risks which may come. और वो इंश्योर करेगा कि ये मेरा जो मिटिगेशन प्लान बना हुआ है ये प्रॉपर करता रहेगा उस चीज.
So sir, like we are already as we are already hitting a 1 hour mark. So like I have this question, because like now we have understood like what ERM is, like how is it different from traditional risk management. हमने ये भी समझा कि like what are the like key benefits of requirements for ERM. So like if we have to think about an organization which does not has an ERM, it's a sizable business. How should they go about in implementing it? Should they have an expert on board? या फिर what is the mechanism of implementing ERM?
See, ultimately, though, it has to be. See, best implementation is done by insiders, people who know their business, who understand their business. They are the best people to do it. Because ultimately, what will an expert do? Expert will come and talk to these people. उन्हीं से बात करके he will try to understand their business. और उसके बेसिस पर ही वो करेगा. लेकिन what an expert will do? Expert will bring in tools.
Tools.
Because it's a very, very comprehensive process. The whole process, if I take you through, the first aspect is to identify all the potential risks. Work out it's a laundry list is not a correct word, but work out a laundry list. When we did this exercise in our company, we identified 270 potential risks.
Wow.
So it's the sheer size of that. You need to have some expert to help handhold and do. So once you've done it, because most of the risks will be common across various departments, and but there will be some specific risks to each department and each SBU. But first step is to identify all the risks and put them in a this thing and classify them.
Classify them, prioritize them.
Classify करिए आप strategic risk होंगी या operational risk होंगी, अलग-अलग class में, because each class will have different mitigation plan.
And also each one of them would have a different risk appetite.
Like, yes, actually. So वो करने के बाद आप क्या करते हो, फिर सारे risk को assess करते हैं as per a risk assessment matrix. इसमें दो aspect में polarize करते हो हर risk को आप, कि what is the probability of its occurrence, whether it is definitely going to happen or likely, unlikely, or this thing, or what is going to be its impact, low, medium, high, or critical. And you put each risk in that risk matrix, work out the total score for that, and then prioritize. The risk with high score have to be tackled first. And then also work out your risk appetite, because each organization will have a different risk. Like, for example, in case of a cooperative, the strategic objective of an organization is to ensure that farmer gets a remunerative price, round the year price, and consumer gets at reasonable price. Even if there is some risk which will impact the financials of that organization, but will help in achieving that objective. Organization will say कि ठीक है, मेरा इस particular risk को लेकर मेरा financial appetite जो है वो medium. मैं ले सकता हूँ for instance.
Yeah.
But any other organization, an IT organization probably will not take that financial risk as a low risk.
Yeah.
So हर organization का appetite के basis पर then what you do? अभी existing system है आपका, कुछ systems and processes हैं, उसके basis पर आपने assess कर लिया, आपने rate कर लिया each risk, then you work out the mitigation plans. कि मेरे को क्या-क्या processes मेरे नहीं है, जो gaps हैं, उनको implement करना है, so that my risk, this particular risk, comes down within my appetite.
Yeah.
So for each risk, you work out a mitigation plan with timelines and a person responsibility, and then start implementing, start monitoring. So initially, to implement it, to do it, you definitely need an expert. You need a person who can help you chalking out your ERM policy, working out your risk registers, and setting up your monitoring systems. जब एक बार आपने कर लिया, वो 6-8 महीने कर लिया, and people have understood it, the culture has been developed, then it has to be done internally. We also hired a consultant. We did it, and he was there for us for 3-4 months to implement it, and then one resource was put in place to help us in stabilizing the monitoring system. वो हो गया 1 साल के बाद, अभी वो internal team कर रही है. So when I came out, I handed it over to my second in command, and he's running it.
Technically, like it took you like organization like Mother Dairy at least a year. So implement post implementation at least 1 year of hand holding to like make it more implementable.
Yes, so it includes working out the policy.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like I think like if it's a smaller organization, it has a smaller footprint, then I think like the timeline would actually be yeah. But
as I said, Mother Dairy we had some 270 risks identified. In a smaller organization will be 50-60.
Yeah. But I think like after like learning about the ERM from you, I personally see that like despite the size and the footprint of an organization, each and every organization should strive to have an ERM system, because specifically
I'm pretty sure, Prashant, today it may be a new concept, a new idea, but time is not very far. And it is mandatory for almost everyone.
Exactly.
Corporate, NGO, government.
Dairy, I think, sir, like COVID has actually been a very good example why something like this should be in place. Yeah, why? And then now price-related volatilities that we see in the market. It also shows you like, okay, for some companies, it can be an excellent opportunity that is coming out of a threat, because like, okay, there's a shortage, like you should already be aware what you should be producing. Yeah, if you're like monitoring your competitors, like your marketing, you're monitoring the market, you should be aware, like, and at least aware in advance that what should you be doing. So I'm pretty much sure like this ERM is very, very critical. So specifically when I was talking about like being dairy, we are always at a very high risk of reputational risk. Yeah, because as you already rightly mentioned, so like despite it might be coming from for unorganized sector, but organized sector is always at risk. Volatilities are there, then turbulences. It could be like disruptions due to pandemics, or again like the reputational risk. So
there is one more thing, Prashant, if I may interrupt.
Yeah, sure, sir.
See, we are the largest milk producer. We keep going gaga about that.
Yeah.
But that happened some 25 years back, and now nobody is going to dislodge you from that.
Yeah.
But now the objective is to become a significant dairy exporter.
Yeah.
How will you become that? You have to have this kind of systems in place, because
precisely.
any importing country will look at whether you have these systems in place.
Yeah.
This is one. Second is ESG. ESG is another field which is coming. Because they look at apart from, because we have proven that we are the master of no doubt as far as production is concerned.
Yeah.
But still quality of our products and the sustainability of our products, there is a lot to be done. Yeah. And people are looking at us, and ultimately our exports will go up only and only if we have mastered that.
Yeah. So like आपने दो point बोले सर, there's one more point, that is consistency of our presence in the external market. If we are not consistently present, because we cannot just be like opportunistic exporter that like, okay, whenever
what happens?
So whenever global prices are up, we export, or we have like bit of a surplus, we get some subsidies to export, we export, but then technically we're discounting our foreign consumption from our taxpayers' money. So that should not happen. That should not happen. So firstly, like sir, like we're already through our time, and I would actually like to thank you for such an interesting talk, and talk to us about the ERM system and the criticality it holds for the dairy sector. And I'm pretty much sure that our audience would love it, would learn from it, and also I would encourage our audience to get in touch with us, and or to Pankaj sir directly. He's available on LinkedIn, and talk to him about the ERM and criticalities of ERM and how you can get these systems implemented into your organization. So,
and Prashant, I have my YouTube channel also. People can go there. I have a 5-module series on ERM.
Yes. So I think like our audience would like people who are watching it on YouTube and LinkedIn, like we would definitely post the link of your YouTube channel there as well. So there's immense value that needs to be drawn from these dialogues and from the talks of Pankaj Sharma sir, and we really look forward to being able to like help some of the companies which are willing to implement ERM into their organizations. So thanks a lot for your time, sir, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure is mine.